Do you know what one of my favorite things to do is? Go on adventures. Do you like going on adventures too? It's not always easy just to pack up your things and head to the jungle or hop on a rocket ship and go to outer space. But there is a way to go on an adventure every single day. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? In your book. You can go on an adventure every time you pick up a book. You can go to new places, you can meet new things and be with different people. If your character goes to the library, you get to go to the library. If your character goes to the zoo, you get to go to the zoo also. So are you ready to go on an adventure? Now, if you're gonna go on an adventure, you need a suitcase. So you better pack your suitcase with all those strategies that we've taught you. Are you ready? Did you pack your suitcase? Our first strategy that we're gonna use is taking a sneak peek. Now, I know that we've done this quite frequently, but it's a really important skill to use every single time you read. And especially as you learn more skills and more strategies, taking a sneak peek becomes more important. You can go deeper into your book and think more and make more predictions before you get started. So I have a book here today, and it's called Iris and Walter. So we're going to start by taking a sneak peek and then start to make some predictions as to what's going to happen in our story. So I'm looking at my cover. It's called Iris and Walter and the Field Trip. And I'm thinking that this must be Iris and this must be Walter. And it says that they're on a field trip. So maybe, where could they go where they would see fish? Do you know? Maybe the aquarium? Okay, so maybe Iris and Walter on a field trip to the aquarium. Now let's flip over and check the back also as part of our sneak peek. I see a picture and I see Iris and Walter again, and they're acting like penguins. I wonder if they're gonna see penguins on their class trip. So I looked at the cover, and right now I'm thinking that this is Iris, this is Walter, and they're on a class trip to the aquarium where they might see fish and penguins. But now I can also read the little paragraph on the back to try to learn more about what I might read in this book. It will help me make some more predictions as I go forward. It says, Iris and Walter are so excited for their class trip to the aquarium. So they are going to the aquarium. They get to see sharks, penguins, and even an octopus. Sounds very exciting. They're having a wonderful time until someone gets lost. I wonder who gets lost. It's a good thing Iris is around to help. Okay, so far we learned Iris and Walter are on a field trip to the aquarium. But somebody, it seems the big problem is that somebody gets lost. But Iris is there to help. So I'm thinking, I'm going to make a prediction that maybe Walter gets lost. I'm not done yet though with my sneak peek. Remember that you can check the front, you can check the back of your book, but you can also check a few pages in the beginning. Now this book has a table of contents at the beginning. So let's check and see if we learn anything new from the table of contents. It says, the aquarium, the bus ride, where's Walter, and the rescue. Did we learn anything new? Are any of our predictions right so far? I think we learned that Walter is the one that gets lost because it says, where's Walter? So, just to recap, we learned that Iris and Walter are our characters. They take a trip to the aquarium. They see lots of different animals, but the big problem is that Walter gets lost and his friend Iris helps to find him. We took our sneak peek, But now it's time to start reading. Notice that while we took our sneak peek, I made a lot of predictions. I used what I knew from my pictures and the words and what I knew from my own experience, and I made predictions or guesses about what might happen in the story. Sometimes it's hard to make a prediction because you might be afraid that you'll be wrong. It's okay to be wrong, okay? Take those risks, make those predictions. It will help you understand your story better. So as you read your stories, try to stop and think about what is going on. What's gonna happen next? If you're reading a series book and your character stays the same throughout the stories, you'll learn about your character and you'll learn what kind of character they are. Knowing that will make your predictions a little bit easier about how they're going to act or what they're going to do. That's what's really fun about reading series books. If you're not reading a series book, just use the pictures and use what's going on in the story or the plot and what you know from your own experiences to make predictions. It will help you better understand the story. Just like we blend words together or sounds together to make words, to figure out what's going to come next, we also blend parts of the book together. We blend the beginning with the middle so that we can guess what's going to happen at the very end. Do you think you can do that? So I'm reading my book, Iris and Walter, because I really want to find out, why did Walter get lost? How did he get lost? I'm just going to read a little bit of it to you and see if maybe you can make a prediction too. So I'm in the middle of the book and it's at the point where Iris runs to Miss Cherry because she can't find Walter. And she says to him, "Miss Cherry, I can't find Walter." "Walter's lost?" asked Jenny. "I can't find him anywhere," said Iris. And I can imagine her frantic because aquariums can be very busy and you lose your friend, it's a little scary. And the next chapter is called The Rescue. So this is where we're thinking that Iris finds Walter. She saves the day. But I wonder how he got lost. "Don't worry," said Miss Cherry, "I will find Walter. Now I want everyone to stay with Jenny's mother. Please let me come with you," said Iris. Miss Cherry looked at Iris's worried face. "Come, Iris, you and I shall find Walter," said Miss Cherry. Iris is very worried right now. They walked past the starfish. They did not see Walter. They walked by the seahorses, but Walter was not there. Iris thought about Walter, lost and alone. "Poor Walter, he must be really scared," she said. "We will find him," said Miss Cherry, "but there are so many people. How would they ever find Walter in the big crowd?" So I'm going to stop for a second and think about, how did Walter get lost? When you go to the aquarium, there's a lot to see. Have you ever been to an aquarium? At aquariums, there's lots to see and so many different animals that are amazing to watch. And sometimes, if you're with other people, they might want to move on and you still want to stare at whatever it is you're staring at, the sharks or the penguins or the octopus, because you're not ready to move on yet. So I'm thinking that maybe Walter was looking at something. He was so interested in something and his class moved on without him. Is that what you're thinking? Let's see. Suddenly, Iris saw him. You see him up against the glass? Oh, he doesn't look so worried to me. Did he even know that his class moved on without him? "There he is! There's Walter!" she cried. Walter was still standing in front of the coral reef, watching the fish swim around and around. "Walter, we've been looking for you everywhere," said Iris. "Huh?" said Walter. "I was so worried," said Iris. "Why?" asked Walter. "Because you were lost," said Iris. "I was?" he asked. I think our predictions were correct. I think he was standing at that glass and he didn't realize his class moved on without him, which can sometimes happen. We don't want that to happen, but it could happen because we're so amazed at what we're looking at. So what I'd like you to do today when you're reading your book is to first stop, unpack that suitcase, take a sneak peek and try to learn about a little bit more. Where are you going on your adventure? What are you going to do? Who are you going to be with? Okay. And then as you're reading, stop and make predictions in the beginning, in the middle, and closer to the end. It's okay if your predictions aren't right, but think about what's going on in the story. What are your characters like? And what do you know? What kind of experiences do you have with what you're reading? That will help you make those guesses or those predictions. So before I send you on your way, I just want to remind you that when you're reading stories, you're not just tagging along with your character. You're following them and you're joining them in their adventure. Remember to look ahead and imagine what's going to happen next. When you read your stories today, I want you to make a prediction and share with us what helped you make that prediction. What were you thinking? What happened? What was your character like that helped you make that prediction? And were you right? I can't wait to hear about your stories.